It's time for yet another map guide in Delta Force. Today's map is Shafted, and I wanted to go through the map with all of you, show you my favorite spots to flank, favorite spots to get up in areas which you didn't think you might be able to get up onto, and yeah, just general pathing and routes that I like to use when I'm playing on this specific map. So loading into Shafted here, I'm on the GTI side. So I'm just going to show you a few things on the Alpha flag to start off that are specific to this side of the map, so this specific team. So as you all may know, this ramp right here, people love to sit here whenever they're camping because you can build these things here, get a little bit of cover from there, and then basically there's only one way to get up, or so people think. So most people will either fire at you from these big fan holes, or they're gonna try and like run up here, right? But it's a very easy point to defend for anybody that's just sitting up here. Now if you're getting back capped by Havoc and you think people are up here, or even if you don't, what you can do is actually spawn in the uncap, and I'm going to show you a neat little trick here. So you spawn in the uncap, and then the best way to get to that point right there on the scaffolding is you run up on this pipe, and then you jump at the very last second, and then you mantle over here. Now this is out of bounds, but obviously you just make it through here quickly, and then you can just shoot at anybody that's just sitting here laying down pretty easily. And honestly, you're probably going to take them by surprise because not a lot of people know that you can get to this scaffolding from that area. Now on the Alpha flag, there's not much in terms of like pathing and stuff like that. It's a pretty open flag. If you're capping it, I would recommend potentially even building this wall right here to protect you from the GTI forces spawn, and obviously you can cap from in here. But one of the spots, or two of the spots, that you should check every time you're coming to this flag if it's contested is underneath these little ramps to get on the train car right here. So on this side there's one, and then there's the same thing on the other side as well, but it's facing the opposite way. And honestly, this one is a little bit trickier to see people hiding under here, because generally speaking you're not going to be pushing Alpha from this side, and if you are, you know, there's that little lip that's hiding the person potentially, so it can be a little bit tricky to see them in there. And then obviously always check for a spawn beacon in this train car here, because not a lot of people use this train car. There's only one entrance in, and this area is a very good place to actually put spawn beacons. Now if we're moving towards Bravo here, now obviously you could just go through here, but if you walk up here, you can get on this little scaffolding here, so potentially just getting to a higher spot. That's one spot that I like to hang out at. And I'm going to show you guys one of the obviously pretty used spawn beacon areas, or respawn beacon areas. It's over here in this scaffolding unit with a bunch of blue tarp. So players love putting a respawn beacon here, or a team spawn beacon, or right here in this corner. So if you're getting back capped on Alpha, you don't know where they're coming from, chances are they're here, especially if they're like spawn trapped on Delta. If somebody broke through, this would be a great area to put a spawn beacon in. So keep that in mind if you're being spawn trapped and you got a nice flank off. So obviously this is a newer area of the map where you can push out further and maybe get a good flank. There's obviously that downstairs area too. That is a great way to flank when you're on the other side, and I'll show you guys that when I swap teams to go to the Havoc forces. But yeah, there's just a lot of great areas to flank. The map would be a lot better if it was slightly lower player count, like maybe 48, so 24v24. But in this section here, very frequent spot where I find spawn beacons is right here in this corner, or down in the water or something like that. Obviously this starts to get out of bounds at some point for the Havoc forces, but it is a very good area to put respawn beacons down, because players generally won't look down here. So that's one place. Here obviously there's a pretty bad choke point here if you're getting you know, pushed back all the way to Alpha. If you're on this team, this is a really bad choke point. You'd want to probably jump up here and then jump on here to get kills down there. So that's a really good area to just keep your eyes on and shoot people that are unsuspecting, looking like down that way, or potentially trying to go into that hallway over there, and then obviously pushing up this hallway. So that is a very nice spot to hold. And if we keep pushing towards Bravo, now you have these little, you know, nooks here and over here on either side that are very popular spawn beacon areas. And then you have this general flag, so you can actually get up on top of here if you jump here, as I missed that jump completely. But yeah, if you jump here and then you mantle over and then you mantle over here, you can actually get on here and have a nice view of that whole, like, what is that, a server area between Bravo and Charlie. And you can get up on all of these too. So if we were to run around Bravo here real quick, so you can get on this container as well. So if you jump on here, then you just mantle up here. And you can also get on here if you get a good jump running start. So like that. So very easy. And then this allows you to go through here, and then you can literally just jump back here and get on this side. So a lot of quick ways to get around Bravo without, you know, feeling like you have to go completely around either wall. So very, very nice. And then if we look over here, so a few popular spawn beacon areas right there in that corner up on these crates here. This choke point's kind of bad, honestly. There's not a whole lot you can do when you are just being held here on either side. Chances are you're just gonna have to, like, you know, bum rush and muscle through. But yeah, when you're coming down the staircase, never really go down the staircase. Potentially just jump over here, avoid the mantle, and then just start making your way down to maybe catch a few people off guard or just completely outflank them and push that side right there. And obviously check for spawn beacons in either of these areas as well. So we're gonna go on the right side of Bravo now. So make our way over here. Obviously, one thing that you can do is build a wall here if you're on this defending side. It'll make enemies, you know, have to vault over that. And there's also a wall you can build here. But this is a very nice, obviously, path. It's, you know, a lane that you would expect people to come down. And there's not a whole lot to say about this side of the map for now. A little bit later when we get further down, yes, there will be. But yeah, popular spawn beacon areas right here and right here. So, you know, be aware of those if people are coming out of nowhere. And then we're going to make our way into the server room over here. So over here, the server room, obviously you can get on these. You can't get on this. There's actually an invisible wall here, but it does give you pretty good line of sight on Bravo. And all these containers here you can get up on, check for spawn beacons all the time, especially back here is a pretty popular spot that not a lot of people check. And then we're going to make our way to Charlie from the server room. So in the server room here, there's not a ton of things that you can actually do. You can get up on these lockers here like that, and then, you know, get up here like that. So if you want to hold a nice spot or even put down a nice respawn beacon that people potentially won't find, this is a very good area. And then obviously you can make your way to the other servers like this. So that, if you've never seen somebody up here, I wouldn't be surprised, because not a lot of people know that you can get up on these, and then you can just make your way through all of them. That's also a very popular spawn beacon spot right there, and like this corner right here. And then we're going like into the vents, so not a ton of things to say here. And then we're making our way to Charlie. So Charlie, there's not much to say for the Charlie flag, except, so if we go back here towards these planters, so this is like a hydroponic plant of some kind, you can actually shoot through those. So if there's somebody on the other side of these, you know, pink plants, pink hydroponic planters and stuff like that, you can just shoot straight through them. And you can also like sprint. Oh, I missed right there. Sometimes the vaulting and mantling while you're actually midair is kind of finicky, but you can make your way to the either side or the middle from here. Just have to jump last minute, as I failed again, but you can get there and mantle over and get to the middle part without having to go through Charlie flag and then going through this ramp right here. You can make your way on either side. This is a nice spot that I like or a nice flank that I like to do on Charlie when there's people like right here potentially, or looking through this hallway here, or doorway. Just get up here, and then just, you know, they're probably not going to expect you from here, especially if they're holding Delta as well. That's a nice little flanking maneuver right there. And then check all these spots too for spawn beacons. Now, something that I want to show you that is very important. So we're just going to make our way towards Charlie here. So here, obviously, all the corners are susceptible to have spawn beacons on them, but what I want to show you is down here. So on the zip line here, obviously you can take the zip line. It makes a ton of noise, so be wary. But when you're on the other side, okay, when you're on Havoc's side, always run up and build this wall as soon as you can. So the reason being, now you're going to say, why the hell would I build the wall? It's completely blocking off an area for me to be able to push through. No, when you're on this side of the map, so this can apply regardless of whether you're playing Havoc or GTI, if you just look up slightly, you can actually take the zipline and like phase through the construction wall or the sandbag wall here, but the same can't be said for this side. So they're going to be completely blocked, but when you're on the other side of it, you can actually phase through the wall. So very, very important because it blocks off a path for the GTI forces, but for the Havoc forces, they can still get through no problem whatsoever. So that is a very important thing I wanted to mention. Always check under these stairs as well for spawn beacons, because yeah, they can get in here if you mess around enough. You can get under the stairs, and then obviously this is like the flanking route to go to the Havoc side of things. So this is probably pretty contested most of the time, but this is a very nice flanking opportunity. You are out of bounds for a little bit, but you can obviously make your way through here to go through this tunnel here to get to Delta, or make your way all the way around here and then just move up to the Delta area from here. So two good flanking opportunities from the right-hand side, even if you do go out of bounds temporarily. Now, if we move down towards Charlie, now this place can just be an absolute, gold mine for respawn beacons. There can be one back here. There's often people that'll put them here. Even here, you get people that put spawn beacons down here, and a lot of people will take this path to go up to Delta, so just be aware of that when you're hearing footsteps. There used to be zip lines to go up these, but there's not anymore. But you can always, fire at people that are up here from down here that potentially won't expect it, and you have a good line of sight from all the way over there. Very, very good area to play from when you're trying to put pressure on Charlie and Delta from the GTI side of things, right? Here, there's, again, a lot of areas for spawn beacons that I just want to point out. So you have all underneath here, that is a very high traffic area for spawn beacons. You have underneath the stairs here, behind this set of boxes here, that not a lot of people look because there's literally nothing else here. But yeah, those are all very high traffic areas for spawn beacons. Now, if we keep moving towards Delta, one spot I want to point out right here. This is a very nice spot for a spawn beacon if you're on the other side. So if you're on, well, this team, the GTI forces, that's a very nice area to put a spawn beacon in. And then you have Delta. So obviously, you can get on all these crates here and then just fire at people that are on Charlie or potentially pushing Charlie. You can get in these windows too, but you can also get on these, what are these, servers of some kind? Yeah, you can get on these servers to hold this side. So if you're playing GTI forces, Havoc forces pushing through, you can just shoot them directly from here or hide, and chances are they probably won't see you. And obviously when you're capturing Delta or when your Delta's contested, always check for these two spots here because people love to just sit in both of those corners. And then you have this one as well, which you can just fire at people on Charlie or moving from Charlie to Bravo from. So very nice vantage point right there. And then the rest of Delta, there's not a whole lot to say, unfortunately. So you have the ramps here, you have all that spawn beacon area here, and even on these crates here. So a lot of different areas for spawn beacons on Shafted. You really have to pay attention to what you're running past and all that, because you are going to probably run past a lot if you don't know where to look. And yeah, always check, obviously, when you think there are people, potentially, or you think there are people just appearing from absolutely nowhere. That means there's probably a spawn beacon close. So always pay attention to all that stuff. And probably the last thing that I want to show all of you is the area where you can call in a cruise missile. So if ever you get to 22,000 points on this map, so that's what's required for a guided missile, you can actually call one in on Charlie. So this corner right here is bare. There's nothing covering it up from up top here. If we actually go physically look, see there's a big hole in the dome right there. So if you call this the cruise missile like right here, you're actually gonna kill like just everyone that's on Charlie. Obviously, Charlie has to be contested at the time that you do call the the guided missile down. But yeah, you can net an absolute ton of kills when you call in a guided missile on Charlie. Now, before ending the video, I wanted to show you a few flanking routes that I like to use when I'm playing on the Havoc side. So as you can see right now, that's the uncap for the Havoc team or GTI team. So going through and underneath Alpha, if you make it quick enough, you can get to the ladder that's right here. So if there's players, or if they're like spawn trapped on Alpha, chances are there's probably going to be a ton of people here. But if they aren't, and you want to get to Alpha without being detected for the most part. Going through here is probably one of the better spots. Obviously, you can make it through underneath over there, or if you manage to get through Bravo and get through this choke point here, go through underneath this way, you can do the same thing. So this is the exact same path. We're just coming from the other side. If you make it quick enough, you can get to the ladder without dying. Now you have to be careful because sometimes people can actually make their way down here from the uncap. So there can potentially be enemies there when you're playing on the Havoc side. There can be GTI forces down there. But for the most part, it's probably a pretty untraveled or lightly traveled area. So that's like one of my favorite flanking routes to get to Alpha when I'm playing on the Havoc side. But that's pretty much it for my shafted map guide. So a lot less things to talk about because the map is a lot smaller, and obviously, you know, there's no vehicles on this map and they're pretty defined lanes, but a lot of nice flanking opportunities if you know what you're doing. And obviously that phasing through the wall next to Charlie Delta is a huge play when you're coming in from the Havoc side. And then the nice way to get up on that scaffolding on Alpha when you're playing on GTI. So a lot of things that you just learn with time, and you know, through playing many hours of Delta Force, you just learn those paths. And I wanted to share it with all of you because some are newer to the game, maybe some are veterans, but they just didn't know about these different pathing options that they have to get the leg up in Shafted. So anyways, I hope this video helped you out or you found something interesting about it. In any case, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.